Okay, strap in, peeps. Things are about to get a little complicated. Just momentarily. I should like to begin by stating that the Spotters Challenge is heavily in play right now. The values presented are largely only significant in regards to um, explaining or describing my general personality, but that is in fact the point of this video, as it has been brought to my attention by someone who actually commented on a recent video that there's a question of my credibility, and there's an issue concerning the standard of my credibility, rather, in play. As this commenter stated, verbatim, I might come across as just being some random guy rambling. And in fact, I am just some random guy rambling. But the only reason that you do not know who I am is because you haven't met me yet. Now, the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, and the reason why this particular issue has not yet really been brought to my attention, it never occurred to me that this should be an issue. I mean, I should be allowed to go ahead and ramble, and the things that I state, the merit of my credibility really, and the general merit of the standards which I present, it should kind of, stand up for themselves, really. I mean, it's self-evident. The things that I'm stating are largely obvious, and that is to say the things that I'm stating. Now, if I say, we're launching an investigation here, so if I say that something is a theory, or, we think this, or we believe that, or, people think this, people believe that, if I put something like that in play, that ball's in your court, play. Pick it up and play. We want you to give us feedback. I want you to give me feedback. Help me learn if I don't understand something. However, if I do go ahead and I state something, I state that I am of the understanding of something, there is an enormous probability that it is, in fact, entirely correct. It's very highly unlikely that anything I state to you is not the actual reality of the matter at hand. It never really occurred to me that this should be an issue, largely because the people that I've worked with, the people that I do work with, throughout the past 15 years or so, they've seen my development. They, to some degree, have, some extent of comprehension as to the depth of my understanding, though they might not actually reach it, most of them. They do, know who and what I am, and in fact what I'm capable of doing. Now, for those of you that do not know me, I will go ahead, and attempt to give you an actual personable description of myself. We have several projects in play right now, especially the secret projects, and we have a lot of campaigns in the works. We have things stretching out with other initiatives, other groups, other peoples. We actually have several problems in play that need to be dealt with. I have personal problems in play that need to be dealt with immediately that are going to set us back a little ways, but I do believe we can make the time up. However, the fact of the matter as it stands is that I am not afforded the span of time, that is to say, I'm not fast enough to adequately explain to you what I need to in order for you to comprehend entirely what it is that I'm attempting to suggest here. And it's going to I've been doing it this whole time. Throughout all of these videos, I've been giving you values that are necessary. It's absolutely necessary that you acquire and assimilate these values properly in order for you to essentially believe what is actually happening here. And, I am just a guy rambling because I did in effect just pop up from out of nowhere. The reason for this being that I was called into action. This is not something that is necessarily supposed to happen. My presence here and the initiative in and of itself is an emergency measure that was called into action. It is more a contingency, really, than a destined pursuit. That is to say, it would have eventually happened on its own were we afforded the time, but we were not. Our time was drastically shortened, and we are now in a stage of development where we have to grow very, very rapidly. We have to catch up and cooperate, essentially achieve, ultimately, a cooperation over competition paradigm for existence very quickly. We are, in fact, running out of time, and this is an exponential. The clock here is running short exponentially. We're losing more time every moment we lose. Is what I'm trying to say, I guess. But as I said, we do have a lot of things in the works that are going to be enormously successful and have a great deal of a great deal of weight to them. I suppose you could say they're going to deal some damage in the battle that we are fighting against division in and of itself and cognitive dissonance ultimately. And cognitive dissonance is always going to be in play. If you overcomplicate something that I state to you, that's going to have to be considered a problem on your end. I know, if I tell you that I know what I'm talking about, believe me, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. The range of my experience is extensive, and it's more extensive, in fact, than I am capable of adequately explaining within the allotted time frame, as I had said before. And the works that we need to get done, they're going to require a great deal of exceptionally specific time management, and in order to successfully accomplish these goals, it's going to be requiring a moderately reliable level of cooperation on your part. So, as I was stating, I feel that I do need to make this video, or this series of videos here, in order to adequately earn the respect that I do in fact command and demand of you. And this respect goes both ways. I have the utmost respect for every one of you. In my mind, every single one of you are, for all intents and purposes, to use a kind of a vernacular, you're innocent until proven guilty. I am, in fact, going to put the utmost faith and trust in every single one of you until you prove me wrong on that. And I hope you don't, I really hope you don't. I love every one of you, regardless of your behavior. If you fuck up, if you make a mistake, so do I. Everybody fucks up, everybody makes mistakes. If you slip, if you consistently slip, if you decidedly slip, then that becomes problematic, because again, we cannot afford to be wasting time here. If you do not believe that this is important enough to put time into, then that's the problem. It doesn't seem like much, because again, it just popped up from out of nowhere. And so, I'm going to have to, again, I'm just going to go ahead and try to explain myself to some extent here. Of course, I'm going to have to cut this video short, because I only have 3 gigs of space on the phone, so I'm going to have to chop this into clips. However, to begin, I would like to say that while I have never been dishonest at all with any of you, I have in fact also never been entirely honest. And so I should like to take this opportunity to give you all a proper description of the character in whom I am asking you to place your trust. My name, as you know, is Donovan Neal. It's the name I was given at birth. Most closer friends and family refer to me as Blue. I've been known to go under the aliases of Dallas Tucker, Tanner Fenton, Trenton Delisario, Nelson Tyler, and I believe that's all of them. I'll let you know if I remember any more. But the legal names that have been used for legal purposes. In any case, my age, I believe, is 36 years now. My birth certificate will state that I was born on January 3rd, 1983. However, the me that you are currently dealing with did not technically exist until February 13th, 2005. That was the first time that I died. You could say the first time that I'd been resuscitated. That was the point in which I actually came here as a response to what transpired in 2001. So my age is very indeterminate. I have done this actually several times before, and of course, I have memories ranging into other lifetimes. So, I mean, really, you could technically go ahead and say that my age is infinite. I mean, I've lived all the time that has ever happened. I just don't remember a lot of it yet, but I do remember a great deal of it. And in any case, my range of experience thereby is very extensive. And anybody who's worked with me, anybody who does work with me, both has, the respect for me as a person, insofar as character reference is concerned, but also the confidence in my ability, as, I've proven it to them. I will prove my loyalty and my trust to you. Something I should like to note, fun fact, is that it's very highly likely that you also died on February 13th, 2005. And I am extremely sorry for that. I am eternally sorry for that. And I will never, ever stop working to earn your forgiveness. So, keep that in mind. I am working for you. I have no real personal considerations in this, other than that I'm seeking to impress that certain special lady. Again, that's my goal, ultimately. I'm trying to be as excellent as is possible in the view of the public. But, the reason that I did in fact sort of pop up in 2005 is something that I'm going to need for you to have all of the values I'm attempting to express in play effectively, in order for you to understand and comprehend and to effectively believe, as I've said. What caused for that to happen, or what I did essentially in that regard, I went ahead and in fact sort of broke some of the rules that are held in very high regard by the universe itself. And the universe is not without a certain sort of force policing the activities of what we'd have to call at this point a sort of a criminal soul that I've become. In the course of, or throughout the course rather, of manifesting the experiences that are required to qualify me for playing the role that I am playing here, the director, I had to break some pretty major rules. And I suppose you could say, in terms of my position, I've pissed off some pretty heavy players in this game, basically. I've gotten on some people's on some forces' nerves, and these forces have these certain primary elemental forces seems to have been sort of haunting me or even hunting me. And while I've managed to evade these forces for the most part, they are in fact inescapable and immutable. So this not only places me in permanent and immediate danger, but it also presents a clear and present danger to anyone who is kind of syncing up with me, working directly with me. Now, these forces are not the sort of forces that govern the laws of nature insofar as concerns, say, the laws of attraction and whatnot. These are not the real heavy hitters, but they are to be considered titans in this game. And these are more along the lines of what we'd have to call kind of karmic forces. So that is something that I feel really needs to be pointed out, something that I haven't really intended to keep hidden, but I always felt as though it would be dangerous, to our general relationship for me to reveal, but I want to be as open and honest and visible with you guys, so I'm stating that here now, whether you understand it or not, which of course you won't understand it until I get the message across entirely. And again, if there's any difficulty with you receiving the message here, that's going to be a malfunction on your end. And I apologize. This person who commented also stated that they do not believe that I have the depth of understanding required to deliver the messages essentially that I'm intending to deliver. However, the case as it stands really more so is that I am largely unwilling to accommodate the necessary simplicity here in that regard. I'm a writer, I'm an author, I'm a poet, I'm a rhetorician, and I have a great degree of respect and love for rhetorical value, so I am going to make every attempt at presenting every message I intend to deliver as eloquently as is possible, without regard to the receiver, as it were, which that's you. You're the receiver, every one of you. So, I guess I could say, to end this video real quickly, because we have to wrap this up, I'm running out of time for now. Being the receiver, it is kind of your job to, if you understand me, you need to take that message and spread it. You need to explain that to the people who don't understand it. If I'm speaking to, artfully, I suppose you could say, to get across to certain persons, that's what you're here for. If you get me, spread it. This message, this purpose, is an antivirus to the illness that is plaguing our planet and threatening the life of our world. And I do mean that in every say. Our existential mortality is at stake here. The planet Earth does not have the resources required to start over again available. If we fuck up this time, that's it. We're done. So please keep that in mind. The status initiative is here as an emergency protocol to ensure that we do not make the same mistake we have made repeatedly again and again throughout the course of our evolution, because in fact this may very well be the last chance we have, and we are running out of time. So if you get my message, spread it to the others who don't. Get engaged. Pick up the ball and play. Put up a fucking fight here. Be operative. Love you guys. Pick this up tomorrow. Keelah, Taerve, siari. Namasté.